Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we're going to talk about a really weird technique that I actually use with my coaching crew. So it's called ignoring. So yes and no. What I mean is that we have to look at ignoring as an actual technique, as an actual psychological technique that we take with us every day. Okay, but ignoring in and of itself also needs to be reframed as intentional displacement. Okay? Now, intentional displacement, it means I have an intention and then I'm displaced. Why are you displaced? Because you are no longer over there focusing on whatever it is that is separating you from your desire, or that is making you feel anxious, or that is making you feel depressed. Okay? So intentional displacement, or ignoring, really, that's what it is you are displacing not just your thoughts, you're displacing that person. I'm no longer you, right? And so you begin using distancing language. So when I say that we're turning ignoring into a technique, this is how you use it, okay? You talk about that person in the third person, okay? There is a technique, I'm not going to share it here. You're going to have to, join the coaching to find it out, but it involves this as a step one, okay? It's a very powerful technique, and it usually takes about a month, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to go through the actual, sometimes even the emotions and even the physical and facial reactions towards that person that you are no longer doing or interacting with, right? Which is ignoring, okay? So what you'd be like, oh, like almost gaslight yourself, okay? And even actually contort your face, like, oh. So there's actually neuroscience research that shows that there are chemicals released within us that are all about distancing when we make the facial tick or movement of disgust, that you are actually distancing yourself from whatever it is that you no longer want to experience. Okay, so these are more about, again, embodied cognition, which is another technique I shared in a different video, right? And so you are embodying and you're reacting, because remember, reactions are what manifest. So you want to react to this as in, that's not me, okay? And so ignoring isn't just, I'm not thinking about you. I'm not thinking about you because you're thinking about it, about not thinking about it, right? So that's not ignoring, okay? Ignoring is quite literally actively distancing yourself from what it is that you don't want to think about, right? And this is more psychological in its approach rather than just mystical in the work of Neville. Okay, so this is how you can actually transform and turn ignoring into a technique. But then there's part two for this ignoring technique, which is reframing. Because you don't just leave it there, okay? You actually reframe it. So you're like, oh, okay, got some anxiety on this issue. So that means there's still some stuff I need to work on. So thank you. I appreciate you. Come at it from a very, very cool attitude of gratefulness. You've shown me what I need to work on. Thank you so much. So actually, and by the way, I'm being literal here. Thank your anxiety. Thank your fear. Thank your depression. Whatever it is, because what happens is your brain is like, wait a minute, you're feeling a negative emotion, but now you're feeling a positive one. And the more that you do this, you disorient yourself. Now, obviously, psychological disorientation, not the mental health side of it, is obviously something I'm not downplaying. If you have any of that, please seek medical and professional help. That is not me, okay? So, what I want to do, though, is you do want to use a similar technique from that same field, okay? Because you're creating a gap, a distance between you, and even a micro step away from that person into this person. But you don't just do that. What you do is you reframe everything, okay? And reframing isn't just positive thinking, because reframing leads to rethinking. Okay, so you're not just, this is a positive thought, I'm gonna feel good like a good old lumberjack. I have no idea why that popped into my head. But anyhow, so what you wanna do is you want to actually build out this as a daily practice. You wanna get good at distancing. Everybody's gonna be different, right? You might do the disgust face, right? You might even actually throw your body away from it and be like, whoa, that's not, you might want to use gaslighting yourself, right? What? That's crazy. I'd never think that. what? That's like this person over here. Give it a funny name. In fact, there's also neuroscience research that actually breaks the circuit, meaning you are not connecting and you're not making a connection between that idea or that person that you no longer identify with. So then you can actually use humor to actually short circuit your connection, mock yourself, self-deprecation, right? All of that kind of stuff, which is like one of the biggest forms of stand-up comedy anyways, right? Because people love that. And in one sense, don't take yourself so seriously, because then you're taking the ego seriously. And so you're not the ego though. You're the source behind the ego. You're love behind the ego. You're God behind the ego. You're the inner self behind the ego. That's you. Okay? So go ahead, use self-deprecation. Okay? But don't do it from a low self-esteem and then do self-deprecation. That won't work very well, right? What you want to do though is you want to see ignoring things, like Neville says, as a technique. Okay? So try this out. Let me know if it works, how it works for you, and if you have any other tips for anybody below. So thank you so much for jumping on. If you're looking for coaching, get in touch. This technique is extremely powerful. It's step 1 on a 5-step psychologically science-backed technique that I use that has worked with every single client that I've ever had thus far. Not my words, their words. So get in touch. Much love to you all. Be safe in the world.